Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Peter with Heroes Real Estate Group. You guys know who I am, so we're gonna get right into it. Today's video is gonna be about the pro and cons of FSBOs, or for sale by owner. So we're gonna go over some pros that I personally believe goes through the mind of some for sale by owner people or some FSBOs. And again, that's just what it is. It's me thinking, what would a FSBO think about? And then we're going to go over some cons, which are based off of research and also my personal opinion. Okay, so the first pro that I feel a lot of you for sale by owners have is that you'll have less of a commission to pay out, or you'll save some money on the commission. And that's partially true. When you go ahead and list your property online as a for sale by owner, some sellers will go ahead and post it and say that you guys will offer a commission, whether it's 2%, 1.5%, 3%, whatever it is. A lot of you will go ahead and put on there because it's a for sale by owner, right? You don't want to pay a commission, so you don't even mention the commission. And some of you go as far as saying no realtor is allowed to call or something along those lines, right? That's a pro that you guys believe you have. We'll get back to that. Another pro, more control. You guys feel like you have more control over the listing and really the tempo of your sale and everything. And again, I'll give you some credit for that. That is partially true. You do have more control over that. Not as much as you may think, but you do have a little bit more control as to who takes pictures, what pictures are taken, what parts of your house are shown, the quality of the pictures, how much you pay for the pictures, how you show it, when you show it, who you show it to. You do have some level of control on all of that. But again, is the level of control worth the con, or in this case it would be the risk, but I'll get back to that. All right, the third pro that you guys have is that some of you believe that you have competition when you list your house with a specific agent. So let's say you list your house with me. A lot of you feel that if I have 10 other houses listed, then you're competing against those 10 other houses because I'm causing that competition. I'm making that competition happen because I'm marketing all 10 houses, right? Again, not necessarily the case, and I'll get into that in a minute, but some of you perceive that you have no competition or less competition. I would challenge that by telling you to go look at any Zillow, any Realtor.com, any MLS site, and go ahead and look around your neighborhood and see in reality who your competition is. There's a lot more than just my 10 listings, okay? We'll get back to that. And the last one is that you believe or you feel like you're gonna sell faster. I don't necessarily know what the justification would be for someone to think that a FSBO will sell faster. Maybe it's because you feel that because there's no agent involved, there's no steps that have to be followed in the sequential order that their broker wants to follow them in. Or maybe you don't have to get the pictures taken and you can just freaking take some with your phone and put them online and that's it, you're done. So you have your house listed in like 30 minutes. Maybe that's why, I don't know. But again, we'll get into that as well because I don't believe that to be the case, right? Now, before I go into the cons, listen, every single one of your pros is valid. Okay, I'll say that because first thoughts, second thoughts, whatever decisions that you guys all make, listen, all of your decisions are valid. There just sometimes happens to be some counter decisions or maybe some counterpoints that have a lot of value and sometimes may even trump the pro, right? So let's get into the cons. The first cons I want to go off of is the less visibility to buyers, right? And that kind of goes along with, where the property is listed. So a lot of you will say, well, nobody's looking into the MLS anymore. And MLS is only looked at by realtors and so on and so forth. And you know what? That would be wrong, right? So the majority of buyers, if you can look this up, it's a public statistic. Majority of buyers, in other words, almost 90% of buyers use real estate agents, right? And what do real estate agents do like myself? We send them links or we send them apps like a branded app that I have. We send them these tools for them to go ahead and look up property on the MLS. That's what we do. That's our job. That's what we do. We direct them to that. Why? Because sure, we can use the Zillows and some of the other websites, but the truth of the matter is that Zillow is not always accurate. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone into Zillow and I see a property active for sale for the past 2 weeks. I go and I call the agent, I call the owner, and I find out that it's an agent that's actually listed it. That's number one. Number two, I've had it to where I've called properties on Zillow as a for sale by owner on behalf of a client, and I find out that the property has never been for sale, and someone just took some pictures off the internet and posted it on there. I mean, there's a lot of crap that can happen on the internet, but the last thing you want is to go ahead, have someone look into your property and say, you know what, maybe it's a fake because these pictures look too good, or the pictures look like crap, or the description sounds like crap. That happens all the time. It's happened to me and some of my clients. So you do get less visibility because people will tend to go towards the MLS sites and the apps because that's what us brokers give them to use, okay? The next one is risk of inaccurate pricing. And this is a big one. This is a big one because this is what keeps a lot of FSBOs from selling in a reasonable amount of time. And the same thing can happen to some agents. Agents that are out there that are inexperienced or that are yes men or yes women, that you tell, hey, I want to list my house for $500,000, even though we all know it's worth $350,000, and they say yes right away, let's do it, let's list it. Those are just people that want your business and they don't give a shit about whether or not it sells. And that's the truth. That's the truth. They put it on there because they're just looking for a number. Oh, look, I have 15 freaking listings active, and that's it. They'll sell eventually. If it doesn't sell, oh well, we'll move on to the next one. That's what a lot of agents do, especially the agents that have not been doing this as long as we have. So I've been doing this since 2015. My business partner and broker owner of the company, he's been doing this for 17 years now, I believe. So when you use this vehicle of real estate as a career, your perspective completely changes. And if you use it as a vehicle to make money and that's it at the expense of others, that's when these mistakes start to happen, that people start pricing your things inaccurately. But you can do the same thing, right? So when you look online and you try to find out what has sold where or whatever, and guess what? Some FSBOs don't do that. You can get an accurate, perception as to what the house should sell for in that area. But most of you don't do that. What most of you do is you look at, okay, I redid the kitchen and it cost me 15 grand. I redid this bathroom and it cost me 5 grand. So that's an extra 20 grand of improvements that I've made. So let's see, this house should sell for 280. Okay, I'm gonna put it up for 300. Or it sells for 350, I'm gonna put it up to 370. But that's not the case. That's not how it works, right? You don't get dollar for dollar for the improvements that you made to the house. That just doesn't work like that. So you run the high risk of pricing it inaccurately, which will actually make it be on the market for longer because people know that it's overpriced. Huge risk, because they may also cause your house not to sell at all. When you look on Zillow, and I know you've done it, you look on Zillow and you see a house that's a FSBO that's been on the market for 250 days, 300 days, 700 days. I've seen that. There's a reason, right? And it kills me to see a FSBO that's like that, because all it would take is for that for sale by owner, that owner, to look at his own record, his own sale record, and say, man, what can I change to make this sale happen? Or who can I talk to make this sale happen? And you will sit there, because a lot of you are stubborn, and it'll just not sell, and you will lose money. You lose money every day it doesn't sell, okay? Another one is safety, and this is a huge one for me. As you guys can tell back there, listen, you see the Eagle Globe and Anchor. You can't really see it, but you see, oh, there it is. You see the little bulldog right there. Listen, I'm a former active duty military. I'm a former Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. And for me, safety is huge. So when I go, see houses, I'm always prepared for the worst case scenario. I have my concealed license or my concealed permit, and I do use it during my day-to-day work. But when it comes to you as a FSBO, what are you gonna do when you let some random stranger in your house? Think about that. A lot of you don't think about that. You're literally gonna get a request online from someone, and someone's gonna say, hey, I'm pre-approved, I'm pre-qualified. Hey, by the way, you can manufacture a pre-approval letter on Word, just saying. But hey, I'm pre-approved, I'm pre-qualified, whatever. I'm gonna come see your house today at 2 o'clock. And you tell them, sure, I'll be here. You open the door and you let them in. You don't know who the hell that is in reality. Do you check their IDs? When was the last time one of you as a FSBO checked an ID? Probably never, right? So you don't really know who it is. So what are you gonna do when they come in? Do you stand behind them? Do you stand in front of them? Do you stand beside them? Do you go outside? Do you let them in your house by themselves? Do you have cameras? Do you have video and sound recording? You have, if you have none of that, and if you don't know what to do, you're putting yourself at a high risk. I know you've seen articles and news stories where even brokers and sellers doing open houses have gotten hurt or worse because of some unknown person coming into that area, right? So what are you gonna do when you let a stranger in your house? What are you gonna do? That's a huge safety issue, especially if you're a single woman, or just have kids, or elderly, or you're not very good at defense, self-defense and such. Like, you're putting yourself at a high risk. And to me, that is not worth the money that I think I'd be saving when it comes to a for sale by owner. Nowhere near. My life is worth more than that. All right, number 4, and the final one I'm gonna touch on today, is that you take on more work and stress. A lot of you have a full-time job or even a part-time job, but the fact of the matter is that selling and buying homes, like I do on an everyday basis, listen, it takes work, and it gives me a lot of stress. I'll tell you what. So these are all things that you would be adding onto your current level of work and current level of stress. So are you prepared to take that on? That's the truth. So if you have a 9 to 5 job, full-time job, plus you have kids, plus you have softball practice, plus you have activities with the kids or whatever, on top of all that, you have to fit in selling your house. So then you got to ask yourself, what's your time worth? Right? If you're taking an extra 2 hours a day, let's just say an extra 10 to 12 hours a week on trying to figure out how to do showings and be present for all the showings and do everything like that, how much is that time worth every week for the, I don't know, 1 to 3 months it's going to take to sell your house? How much is that time worth? Right? So if you do 10 hours a week, what, 4 weeks, so that's 40 hours a month. So that's what, 120 hours in 3 months, right? So if you're doing 120 hours in 3 months trying to sell your house and you're committed to that time because you need to do showings and be present there for buyers, what is that time worth to you if you would have hired someone else, right? And it takes a lot to sell a house, let alone close it. When you close a house, man, there's documentations, there's disclosures you have to do when you actually go under contract. There's property disclosures, there's different statutes you have to follow, there's different laws you have to abide by, different documents you have to, get to and do and fill out and make sure the buyers are aware of, CDDs, HOAs, all these things. So are you prepared to take that on? So the fact of the matter is, and my point in this video is that selling a for sale by owner is not as simple as a lot of you may think. It takes a lot of work. It's a lot of stress. It's a huge safety issue, right? And it's just not as straightforward as some of you may think it will be. So if you have questions, concerns, comments, or anything at all about for sale by owner, how to do it, why you should or should not do it, if you're dead set on selling by owner and you just want to ask a question, listen, I'd rather you give me a call or shoot me a text, even if you don't hire me, because your safety is more important to me than you just trying to go out there selling it by owner and unfortunately something potentially happening, okay? 407-308-4518, peter@flreagent.com. Give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email, and I'll be happy to help you out, all right? Sorry if you felt like I was yelling at you. I kind of was. I've been doing that. It's kind of a trend, right? But listen, give me a call, shoot me a text, we'll talk, all right? Talk soon, take care, bye.